Hey everyone, Brayden here coming to you with a breaking Disney news update. I just got back from EPCOT where I just rode Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, the new roller coaster at EPCOT. I finally got to see what's inside that big blue box. The Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind roller coaster officially opens May 27th with virtual queue and pay-per-ride lightning lane. Before then, there are previews for various ticket types, so I was able to get in today and see what this attraction is all about. And I think I can offer one of the most impartial reviews out there because on the one hand, of course, I have some preconceived notions here. You guys know I do not believe that this attraction should be in Epcot. I don't really think it fits in the park, but even if I give it a bad review on that basis, it's not really worth doing, right? Because Disney's not moving this ride. This ride's probably going to be here 20 years from now. It's not going anywhere. It's not being moved to Hollywood Studios anytime soon. So I really have no reason to give it a bad review based on anything like that. And on the other hand, I don't have a reason to give it a good review either. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not a travel agent. I'm not affiliated with Disney. I don't have any sponsors, nothing like that. So I really think I can provide a very honest opinion of what this attraction is all about. Is it going to be something that you would enjoy? I suspect for a lot of you, it is something that you would enjoy because this attraction, I'll tell you right now, is pretty awesome. So right now, previews for ticketed guests are now beginning. Club 33, D23, annual pass holder, and a Club 33 member allowed me to come along with them and check out this attraction today. So as soon as I got there, I just wanted to ride the ride. I just wanted to go see what was going on with this attraction. So heading in, the first thing you see is the Wonders of Xandar signs. This is welcoming you to the exhibit that you have, which is the queue portion of the attraction. You have all these little displays and things going on, familiarizing you with this universe that you are entering. So you proceed down the hallway once you enter there, and then you turn the corner, and that's when you have the big reveal of the Galaxarium, which is this expansive room with hours and hours of visual and audio content that loop in there. So if there's a long wait, there's going to be plenty to entertain you while you're in that room. The lighting in there is really cool. There's patterns on the wall. There's supposedly lots of Easter eggs in the footage that's being projected on the ceiling. I really haven't had time to see a lot of that just yet. The winding pathways look really cool. You start at ground level and you wind your way up until you're over a story up from where you started inside of that room. And next you head into the next part of the Wonders of Xandar exhibit, where the first thing you see are three-dimensional screens that create a cool parallax effect where you have a screen and you have layers of acrylic all there, and it looks quite cool. You can see uniforms from Xandar on display, and then there's this awesome 3D model they have going on, which is projection mapped, which depicts part of Xandar and is really trying to sell that otherworldly Epcot Pavilion idea where there's all this real education going on about this fictional destination. Continuing on, there is a large screen where a newscaster is interviewing the Guardians. There's a segment with Rocket and Groot, as well as a newscaster with Star-Lord and Gamora. The notable thing here is Star-Lord has some memories of Epcot Center from when he was there as a kid. Check this out.
Well, that was totally my idea. And Epcot, too, because I love that place. It's awesome. I went there as a kid, and I mean, I cannot wait to get to go back and ride Horizons. Also want to see the energy, dinosaurs, and, of course, hear the veggie fruit.
So as you can see, I was kind of like, what on earth is this, right? Because for the everyday fan, the person going to Disney, they don't know what Horizons is. This is going to go right over their head. And for the hardcore Epcot fans that know what's being talked about there, what's being referenced, what is the joke being made that Disney tore down everything that people liked in Epcot? Like, are they making fun of the fans? It's just a very bizarre moment there. So next up, you have this room that kind of looks like a waiting area at a really nice dentist office or something like that. This is the waiting area for the pre-show. Now, when I got to this room, a cast member said, wait right here a minute. And the line builds up behind me. It keeps building up and building up. And keep in mind, this is a preview for Club 33 members. And the cast members, they explain this ride is going to be down an unforeseen length of time. When I first got there, I think the cast member told me something about there was an issue with the pre-show, something along those lines, and subsequently they just said it was general downtime, that a team is looking into an issue, and it could be 5 minutes or 5 hours. It turned out to be an hour-long downtime for the attraction where everyone waiting to ride was just sitting around in the queue waiting for the ride to be back online, at which point we are finally able to head into the load area for the pre-show, and of course, finally head into the pre-show itself. So from here, you enter the first of 2 pre-show rooms. In the first pre-show room, you're supposed to be being briefed on being transported to space. You are still in the pavilion, in Epcot, in the Xandar Pavilion, and this is the room where you are briefed about the cosmic generator, which creates jump points, that being what allows Xandar to access Epcot. Next, you go into the real pre-show, essentially the main pre-show room, which is super cool. So you first go into this room, which is still supposed to be you're on Earth, you're being transported up to outer space, up to the Nova ship. So what happens here is everything goes dark, and the big effect is the walls lift up, and they reveal an even larger pre-show room where it really feels like you were teleported from one room to another. It is a very convincing effect. It's really, really well done. And this is something where guests gasped. They were like, holy, this is awesome. Once you're on board the ship, there's another cool practical effect where the cosmic generator, it disappears. And it turns out a space monster has stolen it. The space monster's name is Essen, I believe, and it goes through one of the jump points, which then starts to close. So there's this panic, and Rocket says, oh, we'll send the shuttles that were supposed to take the guests back to Earth after the space monster guy instead. Now, I'd be remiss not to mention that this is one of the rooms that saw major budget cuts throughout the development of the attraction. If you recall, at the 2017 D23 Expo, there was concept art of this room where it looked like we were going to be getting a Groot and a Rocket animatronic. We ended up not getting that, and it's just a screen. This has gotten a lot of criticism online already, but you know, it might seem cheap. This room might look cheap to you because it just looks like screens on video. When you're there in person, it is a very three-dimensional room. So at this point, the doors open to the walkway to the load area, and on the way there, I spotted some signage that is very reminiscent of the Horizons Futureport signage, if you recall that. At several points in this queue, besides the Star-Lord thing, I think you can see some inspiration taken from former Epcot attractions, specifically Horizons queue setup. Now, something you probably haven't heard much about yet so far that I thought was incredible is the loading experience on this attraction. So the first time you actually see the ride vehicles, the load area, any of that, is as you're walking down this hallway and there is a Marvel-esque spaceship window, and you look out this window and you can see one of the ride vehicles and guests loading onto it. And then you go down this sort of bridge style thing where there's glass on each side. It's this hallway, and it opens up into the load area. And on each side of you, there is a load area. So there are 2 load areas. There's guests loading on both sides of you. And I don't think the scale of this attraction and the rooms in it really comes across on video. This is an enormous room. They had plenty of space to work with. This used to be the universe of energy. So they had a lot of space to work with here, and I think that they made very good use of it. They definitely did a lot here. There's a lot of little theming elements. There's some really cool lighting. Everything just looks really, really nice. Finally getting to the attraction itself, the car pulls up. So you get in there. I put the stuff from my pockets in my backpack because I knew what was about to happen. I knew this was going to be a serious thrill ride. What you do is you round the corner to the reverse launch area. So your car is heading to the reverse launch area. The start of this ride is so cool, and one of the only parts of the ride that actually comes across visually on screen. So let's just watch it.
Nothing to worry about.
Unless we cannot stop this unusually large man, then you're likely doomed.
Good luck. You're gonna need it. What have we done?
I think we're going back.
Now from here on, you are inside that big blue box, which is pitch black with stars projected on the walls, very reminiscent of Space Mountain in many ways. The difference is there's a lot more projection happening on the walls that calls for your attention, where there's a plot unfolding around your ride vehicle on the walls of the box. You see the Guardians of the Galaxy, you see the cosmic generator, you see Essen, the space villain guy, and the cool thing is each time you ride this, a different song plays. There are 6 songs, and I know 2 people people who rode it 5 times this morning and got 5 different songs. So every single time they got a different song. They got pretty lucky there, and the songs that Disney chose are quite good as well. So they definitely did a good job there. My favorite of the ones I did was Everyone Wants to Rule the World. That actually worked really well. I was kind of suspicious. I was like, would that really work? It definitely did. So inside the actual box, when you're on the roller coaster portion of the attraction, you're not in the pre-show, you're not in the launch, you're in the roller coaster, you're rolling around, you're doing it up, you're on the thrill ride. The G-forces are serious. The cars, they're swinging around. At one point, you're traveling backwards during the attraction itself, not the reverse launch, the attraction itself. You also have a few practical sets in there, or I would just say, set pieces, something like that. There's a Milky Way 3D object, which is being projected onto. There's a moon that you loop around. There's also the Earth. So overall, what did I think? I think this is a pretty hardcore attraction. For a Disney attraction, especially a Disney thrill ride, I thought this was a pretty serious roller coaster. It is super smooth, but it pulls some serious G-forces. The rotating ride cars, they add another dimension to the attraction. At no point is it spinning you around in circles or anything too crazy. It's not like the teacups or anything like that, but they do spin around a good amount. You definitely are looking backwards, looking forwards, going to the side when you're on the turns. It's done quite well. It's pretty smooth. It's pretty enjoyable. But no doubt with the G-forces, with the thrill factor you got here, this is a pretty serious thrill ride, and I think this is going to be a very, very popular attraction. I'm a little concerned about that hour of downtime that I encountered the first time I ever went on this attraction, and factoring that issue into ride number 1, and factoring the fact that the show was off the second half of the ride on my third and final ride. There's no audio on the ride. That means that only one of my 3 rides on this attraction was everything working as it was supposed to. And this is something that's been an issue with a lot of Disney's rides lately, where there's bad reliability. People wait a long time. They get up super early. They get a virtual queue for these attractions, and they go to them, and it's not working. And then they get a return time. Oh, you can use the lightning lane. And then you end up being in a 3-hour lightning lane line later in the day. With every other person where, the ride closed on them and they had to come back later. Disney's announced this attraction won't have a physical standby. It's going to be virtual queue, following a trend we've seen with a lot of these new attractions lately. I will say I suspect the downtime that I experienced at the beginning had to do with the pre-show, but definitely something we'll have to watch as these previews continue here with DVC and annual pass holders. We'll see what the ride uptime is like. As far as criticisms with the ride, my main one is that it's in EPCOT, of course. And not just in the way that you might be thinking, because of course, thematically, I don't think it really fits in EPCOT, but there's also something else you might not have thought of, where it's like, do they really want to put this in EPCOT? What is EPCOT all about these days? It's about the festivals. People go to EPCOT to eat and to drink. And I do not recommend eating or drinking before this attraction. That is a bad recipe. I highly recommend you do not do that. Now, the first 2 times I rode, it was on an empty stomach. I was all good. The thing is, between ride 2 and 3, I drank half a bottle of water. And I could feel it on that last ride. I was feeling a little queasy. This is a serious, serious thrill ride. It is no joke. So definitely something to keep in mind there. Maybe Mission Space is about to get a run for its money. And, the way people are in EPCOT, they're drinking alcoholic beverages and stuff. That's just crazy. That's just getting in a crazy town. Some crazy stuff is definitely going to happen with this Guardians attraction, because it is a pretty extreme coaster, I thought. So to sum it all up, guys, I hate where this attraction is, but the attraction itself is awesome. And chances are, if you're watching this right now, you're going to love it. It's a great attraction. I think most of you guys are really going to enjoy it. If you're older and you're more of like a boat ride kind of, fan, like that's the sort of Disney fan you are, this might be a little much for you. But aside from that sort of fan, everyone else is going to love this. Everyone else is going to love this attraction. There's really a lot to love. You are definitely going to have a good time. So big recommendations, big thumbs up on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Even if I think it's in the wrong park, it's just the way it is. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe with those notifications on. Thank you so much for watching. From the Mickey Views Magic Studio, this is Brayden. Have a magical day.